It's 8:30 on Monday the 8th of July, and here I am in Tesco's in Skegness, and I've got to admit it's more like being in a library. Can you hear the noise? Just listen. There's no music. There's about 10 people. You would think he was in a library. There's absolutely no atmosphere. On saying that, it doesn't really matter because the food was good. And I decided this morning to have a breakfast for the simple reason that all of my food that was in the van yesterday, my eggs, my bacon, my milk, my butter, everything had to be chucked away. Had to be chucked away because the heat got to it. It was parked up in Boston while I walked through here to Skegness, and everything had turned to a gloop by the time I got back, including my milk, which I always have problems keeping actually, because obviously the movement of the van when I'm travelling, that doesn't help. So I'm here in Tesco this morning to completely restock. I've chucked everything away. And I thought I'll have a breakfast this morning because I want to get on the road and walk north to Mablethorpe, which, checking on my route planner and everything this morning, is about 17 miles. I did 20 miler yesterday, which completely exhausted me. I only just caught the 18:07 train to get back to Boston to pick the van up and get back here, by which time it was like knocking on 8:30, and I was tired, as you can imagine. Went to bed pretty well straight away, answered one or two emails and one or two messages that I had to make and everything, and I was in bed again by something like 9 o'clock. And so I was wide awake this morning at 3 o'clock. So I started on the edit of yesterday, got as far as I could, and I had to come here. I got here about sort of 6 o'clock. I was on the car park. There's a 3-hour limit here. I had to get some diesel and get myself organised, and I got some really nice emails last night actually. One from my friend Clinton, who was in London, who wrote me a wonderful letter. We was hoping to have got together for a walk, but I've been unable to make any decisions at all about these kind of things, subject to the weather. And the latest on that weather is that it's going to chuck it down tomorrow and on Wednesday, which means there's no panic for me to do the edit and get it on the internet today. That can wait until tomorrow. And so while I'm in Mablethorpe, it's my intention that I'm going to try and find a campsite for the night, because it looks as if I might be shut down for 48 hours, but we'll just have to see what happens. I was awake early enough this morning to look out of the van, which was facing the sea, and there was an absolutely terrific sunrise, but I wasn't quick enough to be able to get dressed and get shots of it, and it soon disappeared. And now we've got thick, darkish cloud, although the sun is poking through a little bit. So yeah, back to Clinton. It was a lovely letter, and he was explaining to me that he's not a driver, and he was thinking of coming up here, but he told me that it would cost him over £200 in train fares, or something like about £80-90 in bus fares, and all the bus connections and all the rest of it from Kent round to here. It was just be ridiculously expensive for a walk. Plus the fact that I'm sort of strictly on a course which I can't wander off, and how we'd go on with picking up and dropping off, and then there's accommodation and one thing and another. And so he very, very nicely said, no, I completely understand his situation, and I completely understand his, and it would have been very nice to meet him. I've got his phone number. I'm going to give him a call just to say thank you, because he sounds like a really nice guy. The other thing is, I'll be speaking to my friend Rosemary with a view to sorting out a day towards the end of the week when the forecast gets quite a lot better, by which time I'll be south of Mablethorpe. So it's going to be a short walk, I'm afraid, and probably we could arrange to do something, say from Tetney Lock into Grimsby, and maybe go and have some fish and chips on the pier. That might be a good idea, Rosemary. And I don't know whether you're bringing Gordon with you. I hope you are, and it would be nice to see him again, and we can have a bit of a get together, as well as maybe just a 4 or 5 mile walk. That might be good enough, plus the fact that after all the rain, the fields might be, it's going to rain for 48 hours apparently. The fields might be a bit flooded, you never know. And so maybe we could plan more of a social occasion rather than and include a short walk. But think about that, and I'll speak to you probably Wednesday, and we'll get something definitely arranged. And in the next 2 or 3 days as well, I'm also going to be meeting a very good friend of mine, and I think he's a very good friend of yours as well, or a lot of you. And we're going to meet up somewhere on the coast, or maybe Louth or somewhere, and sit and have a coffee and a good old natter. So, having devoured that lovely breakfast, it's 8:30 now. I'm just going to go and try and find somewhere to park the van, get sort of dressed up. You might notice I've had a shave this morning, and made myself look a bit tidier, and I've also tidied the van up and everything, and see how far I can get on the road to Mablethorpe. I'm going to feel tired, I know that. I feel tired now, but it needs to be done, and I'll have to pull out all the stops again. Yesterday was tough, it was very tough. I also spoke to my daughter Sam, who lives in Manchester. They're definitely coming over at the weekend, which I'm really pleased about, and she's invited me over to Manchester for a couple of days to have a break. I need to speak to my friend Ray, who at the moment I think is in Italy or somewhere, and he should be back in the next day or two. I know I've been getting 1 or 2 jokes from him over the sending me jokes, as he always does, and we can make an arrangement to then drive up. Maybe, bearing in mind he lives in Ellesmere Port, we could maybe arrange to meet somewhere on the M6 and kind of drive in a very small convoy up to Berwick-on-Tweed one day next week, and we can make a decision about that. So my intention now is, as I said, just to get as near to Mablethorpe as I possibly can. I've got to find somewhere to park the van, and then I'm going to be on my way. So, as I always say, and I'm sure if Ralph was here he would say the same, here we go. Well, that was a result. It only took me about 10 minutes to find a free parking spot on the main road, just about maybe half a mile from the very centre where the double yellow lines ended, under a tree, so it's shaded. So all the food I've just bought at Tesco has got a good chance of being intact by the time I get back tonight to collect the van and then move on to Mablethorpe. The weather's brightened up a little bit actually. There's still a little bit of a breeze, but that seems to be in front of me at the moment, so it's going to be following me most of the way. The place is waking up now. The mums are taking all the kids to school and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just about to pass a place I came to last night actually, where a pub, a Wetherspoons pub, I just fancied a nice pint of Stella, and when I got in they said, I'm sorry, we're out of stock, which was a big blow, a very big blow. I mean, Ralph will confirm that. Walking all day and you can't get a pint of Stella, it's sacrilege. So I'm close now to the centre of this wonderful place, Skegness, and I've got to say I was never a big fan of Skegness, but I haven't been here for many years, but it does seem to have got itself together pretty well now. And mind you, I suppose when you think about it, we're in July, it's the height of the season. There still doesn't seem to be that many people around, but we'll just see what happens. I think I'm heading in the right direction. I'm going back down to the clock tower and starting from there.
A year?
A year? It's quite a... Do you need a license for it?
No.
Seriously, anybody could... I could drive one of these then if I mean, you know...
Yeah.
But wow, that's quite impressive. I bet loads of people make comments though.
Oh, they do, yeah.
Yeah, your pride and joy, isn't it, really?
You get bad ones and good ones.
Yeah. And do you get any trouble with parking and tickets or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. Oh well, it's very impressive, mate. Yeah, lovely. Well done. Cheers, mate.
That's all right.
It's 10:15 now, so I've been going for about an hour and making good progress. It's a nice walk actually. It's lovely to be by the sea. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. But no, seriously, it's lovely and it's nice and warm. I've lost my sunglasses already, which is a bit of a bad start. Good job I'm walking north. And it's great to be out here. I feel a bit tired from yesterday, to be expected, but I'm quite happy to be here. It has a completely different feel, away from all that bloody traffic. And I don't know how far I'm going to get, but there's lots of different places between here and Mablethorpe, and there's a bus service back to Skegness, so it's not really important. And what I don't get done today, I will get done, even though the weather forecast is pretty abysmal. So that's why I'm trying to get as much done as I possibly can. It's 11:20 now, and as you can see, there's no change in the weather. It's quite nice walking out here actually. There's a nice brisk headwind that's not too cold. It's comfortable, it's nice for walking. I haven't yet thought about taking my jacket off because it is quite a biting wind and it can soon get cold, believe it or not. I'm walking at a good pace, I'm quite happy. Lovely to be back by the sea again, as I said earlier, and I'm making good progress, so I think I should make Mablethorpe quite comfortably today, which would be great. This is Alan and Diane, and they're up from Surrey actually. It's quite a long way to come onto this coast, isn't it, Diane?
It is indeed, yeah, but we like it because of the dog walks.
Yes, yes.
And we stay in my brother's caravan.
Right.
Which is just locally.
Oh, that's very
and
nice.
we love it. We love it here.
Brilliant. So walking is not new to you then? You're kind of avid walkers over the years.
Yes, yeah.
Brilliant. These are beautiful dogs, aren't they?
They are.
Barney and Buster. Barney and Buster.
Very nice.
Got a way to catch up with your walk though.
Yeah, this wind's picking up a bit now, isn't it? I know the weather forecast for tomorrow is not very good. And the day off, and the day after. Yeah, we've got 2 days of rain.
We'll get a coat on.
Yeah. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks very much indeed for the offer of contribution. Now you've got a card, you can do it yourself, Alan.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Great, you're doing a great job. Nice to meet you, Jim.
Check me out on YouTube.
We will.
Yeah,
okay.
we will.
Thank you very much indeed.
See ya.
Bye-bye now.
Bye, Jim.
Well, I've reached Ingermells, which I reckon is about halfway between Skegness and Mablethorpe. It might be just a little bit further, but I don't really know. The wind's getting up now, and you can kind of feel this rain coming on its way. And I bought myself a new hat. I'm not quite sure whether you like it or not, because I lost my black hat at the same time as I lost my sunglasses, so I can only assume I left them at the place where I bought this hat. So I'll probably have some time to go have a look later on when I get back. Even though I know this is going to be about a 6-hour walk, I'm quite sure that he'll hang on to my glasses, because they're no good to anybody else, because they're special size that fit over my ordinary glasses. But the wind is swirling around. I hope it's not spoiling this little chat. And you can feel the dampness coming in, and you know that I've got a sense about this weather now. It is dampening down and the wind is strengthening, and even though the clouds are still quite fluffy in front of me, looking that way, they're getting a bit dark blue, and so I know what to expect. I'm just walking along, and I've just been looking at this ship out here, wondering what was going on. Actually, I wasn't really sure, and I bumped into this gentleman whose name is Bob, and Bob seems to know what's going on. So what's happening here, Bob?
Well, we found out that the ship is actually pulling sand off the seashore and redistributing it to the beach,
yes,
so that they can reprofile the beach for sea defences.
Wow.
And it has a double benefit. First of all, the sea bed will be much deeper, so it'll hold much more water.
Yes.
And the wet sand's being pumped onto the beach further along,
yes,
like a big concrete mixer.
Right.
And then they're reprofiling the beach to stop the winter storms bursting onto the beach, therefore keeping inland safe.
Right.
Interesting, eh?
It is indeed. So Wainfleet's had problems over the recent years.
That's right. That's all. I mean, that was from the river steeping as it happens, but the whole coastal area is very prone to being washed and
right,
being deteriorating.
right.
So we were quite interested in that. It's been here for ages as well.
Right. Because I have vivid memories of, 1953, I think it was, or was it 55?
53 was the big storm.
Yes,
yeah.
I was only 7 years old at the time, like 5. Well, 53 was when I was 5 years old.
I was naught.
I can remember. Yes. Well, I'm 70 now, and I can remember the photograph on the front page of the paper, and all the caravans all sort of floating.
That's
out
right.
to sea.
It got well
there was
inland.
quite a number of people killed, especially down at in the Thames.
The Thames estuary round the island down there, Canvey Island.
Canvey Island, yeah, there was a lot of people killed, wasn't there?
There was about 150 apparently.
Yes, so that's well, Bob, thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.
That was lovely to meet you.
And best of luck on your walk.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's 1:20 now, and I'm sorry that the sun is behind me. I've got no choice because of the wind direction. Just having a little break. Just been watching this pumping operation, which was pretty well explained by Bob. The wind's picked up a little bit now, but it's warmed up at the same time. It's quite strange weather, and you can see some clouds rolling in from the north, and look a little bit ominous, but I'm not too worried about that today. I know the forecast for the next couple of days, and I can say with confidence I should make it now. The problem being that having walked along that sandy beach for 1,000 metres, it's pulled my groin a little bit. I can feel it, and beaches always do this to it. And where you're walking on the flat and solid surface, and then suddenly you're really having to struggle through really fine sand, and it really was like having concrete boots on. And I might walk it off, but I'll be okay, I think. But it was I didn't like it at all. It was hard work, really hard work. So, not quite sure just how far I am now. I reckon I might have another couple of hours to go, but I'm doing all right. It's 4 o'clock now, and I'm just sheltering in one of these little beach huts, not actually in it, but sat on the step outside. And I've got about an hour and a half now to go to get to Mablethorpe. It's been a very strange walk this. 1 minute you're on the beach, 1 minute you're on this path, and this path seems rather endless. And it's been interesting. I've met some quite nice people. Not all of them wanted to speak on camera. And it's been a long walk. Not quite sure how far it's going to be by the time I finish. Probably about maybe 17, between 17 and 20, I would say. That's what OS Planner said it was going to be anyway. And also TomTom, I looked at that as well. And they were talking about 18.